The myth of the low-fat diet. So what do they mean by low fat? According to the American Cancer Society, a low-fat food cannot contain more than 3 grams of fat per 100 grams of food. Similarly, a liquid cannot contain more than 1.5 grams of fat per 100 grams of liquid. Foods considered low fat include white fish, rice or noodles, fruits and vegetables, skim milk, and more. Studies during the 1940s linked high-fat diets and high cholesterol levels. This, in turn, led scientists to the conclusion that a low-fat diet might prevent heart disease in a high-risk patient. In the 1960s, the dietary trend was promoted as better for the whole nation. From then on, the low-fat outlook was highly promoted by all. Pessimists of the diet were tossed aside. That is, until recently. The belief is held that fat contains 9 calories per gram, so eating more fatty foods leads to weight gain. According to the Harvard Medical School, however, dietary fat is not a major determinant of body fat. The Women's Health Initiative conducted a study of 50,000 women who went on a low-fat diet and found that there was no significant weight loss. Ironically, low-fat diets have a negative side effect, such as dry, dull skin, becoming cold easily, raising triglycerides, and lowering the HDL, or good cholesterol. Basically, there are no benefits from following this trend. The assumption is held that foods with labels that say low-fat or fat-free are lower in calories than the same portion of a full-fat product. However, ingredients are added to improve the flavor and/or texture after that fat is removed. This leads to the calories of both becoming the same, or the low-fat item has more calories because they can be higher in sugar or contain more refined carbs. The assumption that a high-fat diet is bad would only apply to those whose diet is mostly full of trans fat or saturated fats found in a majority of processed foods. Foods naturally high in fat are okay because they are satiating and cannot be easily overconsumed. A high-fat, low-carb diet results in more weight loss than a low-fat. Thus, fat is essential to weight loss. David Ludwig determined that weight loss and management can be treated most effectively through a personalized approach. Further, he found that changes in body weight or waist circumference is affected by sugar, carbohydrates, and a glucose load. To better address cholesterol needs, a low glycemic load diet should be followed because it keeps the blood sugar even. Moderation and balance should be the goal when thinking about diet. Monosaturated and polysaturated fats are good, while saturated and trans fats are bad. So be smart about fat by eating a reasonable amount of healthy fats like salmon, avocado, nuts, reducing your intake of fried foods, red meat, and butter, and trying to completely avoid trans fats. Additionally, read the labels to be more aware. If a label Always says remember partially that though diet hydrogenated, accounts for a back majority away. of weight loss, physical activity is still needed to be the most effective.